How you doing, folks? It's good to see you. It's Tuesday, 13th day of December, 2022. I'm Dan Kuntz, just 12 days. 12 shopping days left until Christmas, so actually 11. How many people actually go out and shop on Christmas morning? Probably not many. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I got a good show for you today. It's cold. It's 21 degrees. A couple of high clouds hanging around there, but all things considered, a pleasant morning. Going to be a little cooler today than it was yesterday. Had lots of sunshine. Felt good to be outside, and the warmth of the sun bouncing off the snow wasn't bad at all. But we're going to start that slow cooling trend. We're under the influence of a ridge of high pressure. Not a strong ridge, not packing a lot of punch, but it's strong enough to get our temperatures getting down there pretty cold, and we're going to be really cold by the time we get to the weekend. They're a little unsure, the National Weather Service is, of those overnight lows, because if you get just a little bit of cloud cover and a little bit of fog, the overnight lows are a little bit warmer. If you have fairly clear skies, of course, they get down there, no blanket. So we'll see. We'll get complete forecast details coming up, plus the news. We'll talk a little hockey when we get to sports, not only during the sports segment, but in the back half of the program. Austin Trotty, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, will be joining me. They had a really good weekend at the Town Toyota Center. They beat Penticton, snapped Penticton's long winning streak. They beat them in a very exciting game on Friday, 2-1. And then they follow that up with a victory over West Kelowna, another outstanding organization in the British Columbia Hockey League. And we'll see if we can keep this warm streak going. Vernon is in town. The Vipers will take on the Wenatchee Wild tonight at 2 o'clock. At 6 o'clock tonight at the Town Toyota Center. Austin will be joining me in the back half of the program. And before we go any further, if you're planning on traveling over Stevens Pass, in about a half an hour at 7:30 this morning, they're going to do some avalanche control work. They're going to close Stevens right at the summit, and then for about 5 miles on the west side of Stevens Pass, and they're going to do some avalanche control work. You know what happens. They stop the traffic. They send the explosives into the side of the hill. The snow comes down. They pick it up, and then they open up the traffic again. So it depends really on how much snow comes down. But Stevens Pass will be closed for some avalanche control work beginning at 7:30 this morning. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's start our tour around north central Washington with our cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi. A stunning view, again, for the Wenatchee Heights. Everybody is covered in snow. No snow in the forecast, really, until we get to the weekend, and even that, it's just a slight chance of snow. But with these cold temperatures, snow's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. So, yeah, it's just, there's going to be no real significant snow melt. But most of the major roads now, and even some of the roads in the neighborhoods, are pretty clear of, there's still some compact snow and ice in some locations, and certainly some parking lots and things like that. But for the most part, the area roadways around the valley are good to go. You're fine. Second camera. We're going to take a look at that. That's beautiful. That's Rock Island. That's the Rock Island camera? Okay, if you say so. Your eye wouldn't lie to me, at least unless there was something in it for him. Good morning to our friends in the Rock Island area. That's a beautiful view. Camera number 3. Beautiful shot of downtown Wenatchee as the LED lights on City Hall are doing their job. About an hour ago, I stepped outside and it was all red and green, all lit up for Christmas. As you can see on South Chelan out in front of Wenatchee City Hall, pretty good. I mean, the roadways are just fine. No real problems at all. You can see the cross in the upper left-hand corner of your screen with these clear skies and camera 4. That is a nice view. I want to say that's Stein Hill. That's Tumwater. Shows you what I know. So way off into the distance, it's starting to lighten up a little bit. That somewhere down there is Leavenworth. Great place to go if you really want to get into the Christmas spirit, of course, is Leavenworth from our Tumwater camera. And yeah, the Tumwater Canyon is open. Don't worry about that. However, maybe freezing fog and black ice should be something you need to consider, especially over bridges and overpasses. That's when you get the snow melt in the afternoon, and then it freezes at night. Then it melts in the afternoon and it freezes at night. So black ice, you can't see it. That's why they call it black ice. And so it's something you need to keep an eye on if you're out and about. And as far as freezing fog is concerned, it's a possibility. Some locations are going to have it pretty good. Other locations really not so bad. Right now, there is no patchy freezing fog, but that doesn't necessarily mean it couldn't develop over the next 4 or 5 days. And I mentioned it's going to get really cold this weekend. It's going to be a continuous decline in not only the afternoon high temperatures, but the overnight low temperatures. We'll be about 30 today and close to 30 on Wednesday. And then we start the process. We'll be in the upper 20s on Thursday. By Friday, we're only going to get up to the mid-20s. By Saturday, we'll be lucky to get to 20 for the afternoon high. We could see overnight lows close to single digits Saturday night and Sunday night in the Wenatchee Valley, and other locations are definitely going to see overnight lows in the single digits. It's going to be very, very cold as we get closer and closer to the weekend. We're under the influence of a weak ridge of high pressure. That's going to be replaced by a stronger ridge of high pressure, which is going to trap the cold air close to the ground. So just be forewarned. Going to get really cold this weekend, but it looks like we're pretty much guaranteed to have a white Christmas unless something really cattywampus happens. From our friends at Apple Valley Honda and the National Weather Service, we're going to see sunshine today, but it's not going to be as warm as it was yesterday. We got to 35 yesterday, which is just about normal for this time of the year. We'll be about 5 degrees cooler than that, again, with sunshine for the most part. 20 for the overnight low tonight with a few clouds coming in. There's a weak ridge, weak short wave that's going to come in. It's going to give us a few more clouds tonight into Wednesday, but it'll burn off. And basically Wednesday is a repeat of today. Sunshine for the most part, with a few more clouds that need to be burned off by the sun by the time we get to the sunshine Wednesday mid-morning or so. Thursday we cool even more down, only 28 for the afternoon high, 15 for the overnight low. Friday, 3 or 4 degrees cooler than that for the afternoon high. We're not going to get above the freezing mark. And look at what we get for the weekend. Slight chance of some light snow Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. When it gets this cold and it snows, it has a tendency to be real powdery snow, not the heavy wet snow, but snow that's almost like talcum powder. And look how cold it is going to get with overnight lows in the single digits. And it's still not winter yet. We're still, 8 days away from the winter solstice. 7 minutes after the hour, 1 minute break, and then your headlines on this Tuesday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
At Wine Girl Wines, our #1 goal is to make sure every customer leaves with a smile on their face. From our Bavarian-style menu to our vast selection of wines, beers, ciders, and cigars, there's something for everyone. So bring the family, sit by the fire, and enjoy a relaxing evening.
At Local Grounds Coffee Company, they serve quality coffee, teas, and food items to get your morning started right. Stop by and try one of their signature drinks that will warm you up on these cold, snowy days. They look forward to seeing you soon at Local Grounds Coffee Company.
Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge in Leavenworth has a warm environment to enhance your dining experience. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Crystal's Intimate Lounge is a wonderful place to relax and dine with beautiful views of the mountains. Do you have a special occasion coming up? Call Crystal's to reserve their event space. Whether your event is grand, intimate, or casual, Crystal's provides unforgettable food and superb service. Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge, proud to be serving fabulous food and drinks.
Just a few high clouds, a chilly 21 degrees outside of our studios. Just about freezing for the afternoon high, with just about 30 or so for the afternoon high. Quite a bit of sunshine for the next couple of days, and then we gradually cool down until it gets just plain cold by the weekend. It's 9 minutes after the hour. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help in identifying somebody who broke into the old Osborne Elementary School in Leavenworth and spray painted graffiti on the walls there. Serena's video that we're showing you now shows that the incident happened about 6:15 in the evening of November 22nd. Now, the Sheriff's Office said the person wrote the word SPEK, S-P-E-K, in multiple areas of the closed school. Now, the building hasn't been used as a school since 2020 because they have the new Alpine Lakes Elementary School in Leavenworth. In one of the surveillance videos released by the Sheriff's Office, you can see the individual wearing a mask, a hoodie, and a ball cap, applying the graffiti to the walls there. In another video, the person is shown walking around outside of the building and then setting up a camera on a tripod. Any idea who this person might be? You're asked to call Rivercom's non-emergency number at 509-663-9911. An Everett company is going to provide 45 small shelters as temporary housing for Wenatchee residents living with homelessness. The city voted on Thursday to buy the 2-bed structures from Pallet PBC. That's a firm that provides shelters to homeless outreach centers. They've done so in Burlington and Everett and other places nationwide. 45 structures they're going to buy. They're going to rest at the site of the Wenatchee Rescue Mission, which is currently the key partner in the city's efforts to help those without shelter. They're insulated units. They're fiberglass reinforced plastic, aluminum framing. Each unit features folding bunks and storage, as well as heating and cooling units, fire extinguishers, a smoke detector, and emergency doors. The City Council approved $643,000 for the purchase, with $536,000 coming from a Department of Commerce grant. The City of Wenatchee is seeking nominations for their annual Civil Rights, Social Justice, and Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion Awards. The honor goes to individuals, institutions, and businesses that have worked to advance the cause of social justice and perform the services for minority or underserved populations in the Wenatchee Valley. Past honorees include Wenatchee Elder Randy Lewis, picture there, also LGBTQ activist Elvis Garcia, physician Mabel Bodell, and institutions like the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. You can make a nomination through the city's website, but the deadline to suggest an honoree is coming up. It's this Friday. Speaking of the city of Wenatchee, Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz said he hasn't given any thought of running for governor, but the Seattle Times editorial board on Sunday included his name on a list of candidates they'd like to see run. Kuntz said yesterday he hasn't been approached by anybody about running for governor, but he said it was a nice compliment to be on the list as the only person listed from Eastern Washington. Kuntz has announced he will not seek re-election as mayor when his third term expires in 2024. Now, the Times said Kuntz is known for his ability to work across party lines and credited him with successfully restoring Wenatchee's financial footing. The Times mentioned three other potential Republican candidates, including former Secretary of State Kim Wyman, former Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler, and Pierce County Executive Bruce Damemeyer. By the way, full disclosure, he is my brother. State Department of Transportation snowplow drivers are a big reason that traffic was able to get through during the weekend snow event, and they have a plea for motorists. Slow down, have patience, and don't pass snowplows on the right. Veteran plow driver Chris Judd recorded this appeal from the DOT late last week.
Hi, I'm Chris Judd from Spokane, Washington, Eastern Region, snowplow driver. It'd sure be nice if people would give us room, not tailgate us, do not pass us on the right. Leave us room, space, watch for us out there. We are averaging 30-35 miles an hour. When we're plowing right sides, we are down to 5 miles an hour. So if you see our strobes and our lights, please give us a chance and let us do our job and get home safely, just like we want you to get there safely.
And finally, boaters and recreationists on that matter on Lake Chelan could be subject to watercraft inspections starting next year. The idea is to prevent the spread of invasive species. The Chelan County Natural Resources Department will hold a town hall event tomorrow at the Chelan Fire Hall to discuss the project. The National Park Service is funding the new inspection program. It's voluntary for visitors putting their craft into the water. Lake Chelan is at risk from the invasive zebra mussels and quagga mussels pictured there. They originated in Eurasia, but they have spread to waterways all over the world. Both species threaten water quality and water infrastructure when they're introduced to new lakes and new rivers. County officials say inspections could become mandatory for all watercraft if the mussels establish a foothold in Lake Chelan. The town hall is Wednesday, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, again at the fire station in Chelan. And that's what's making news a quarter after the hour. We will have a newscast for you again at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and we have a good crew who puts it all together. We do.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, quiet weather is expected this week with much colder temperatures by the end of the week and into this weekend. I'll let you know just how cold we'll get in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom has a look at what's on tap in pro, college, and high school sports coming up this week. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. And if you have a news tip or you just want to drop a note, you can do it. You can go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, or you can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon. When we come back, sports, Gonzaga wins again at home. I think that's, 71 in a row at the McCarthy Athletic Center. We got highlights of that. Preview the high school prep action. There's a lot of it today. Plus, we still got to come the obscure holidays, some celebrity birthdays, today in history. An opinion from my Mad Dog Minotti and Austin Drawdy, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. We'll talk about a great weekend and the Vernon Vipers coming into town tonight. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Tuesday edition on the NCW Life channel.
You've got a lot to do today. While you're out and about, remember to dispose of your unused medications safely and anonymously. It's a simple act that makes your home a safer place. Next time you're at the pharmacy, just place them in the drop box. To find a location, visit medproject.org.
Mondays are happy hour all day long at Bob's Burgers and Brew in East Wenatchee. Great deals on appetizers, martinis, specialty drinks, wine, well drinks, and draft beers. Bob's Burgers and Brew in East Wenatchee. Come on in. They look forward to serving you.
Bob's Burgers and Brews in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy great food, great service, and a great time. Only the best for our guests. We look forward to serving you. Stop on by today.
18 minutes after the hour, the 15th ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs, another slow start, but they got their act together, and eventually they knocked off Northern Illinois 88-67 last night for their 71st consecutive victory at home. Highlights courtesy of Gonzaga Athletics. Drew Timme led the way for the Zags. He had 26 points. Ben Gregg came off the bench to chip in 18. Coach Mark Few happy to see his guys get going after a sluggish start.
Northern Illinois came in here and competed really, really well. And for a while there, they were beating us to some 50-50s and making plays. And but fortunately, in the second half, we kind of settled down and took great care of the ball. And we're really efficient on the offensive end. I thought we were playing some good stretches of defense there, but again, we couldn't come up with those loose balls around the rim, and they were doing a good job of being very opportunistic and grabbing them and getting and ones and keeping it close because our offense was really clicking there in the second half.
Gonzaga is off until Saturday, and then they got a big one. They got fourth-ranked Alabama Saturday morning, 10 a.m., nationally televised, by the way, on CBS. Coming up today in men's college basketball, Eastern Washington will be in Lubbock. Buddy Holly's hometown to take on Texas Tech. That's at 5 o'clock tonight on ESPN+. The Huskies will play host to Cal Poly at 7:30. Women's college basketball tonight, Eastern travels to take on winless Seattle University at 6 o'clock. The Seattle Kraken, they're still on the East Coast. They're in Tampa to take on the Lightning. The Kraken are tied for second in the Pacific Division of the NHL's Western Conference. They have 35 points alongside the LA Kings. Vegas leads the way. They got 41 points. Tampa Bay also has 35 points. They're 17-9-1. That puts the Lightning third in the Atlantic Division behind Boston and Toronto. They drop the puck at 4 o'clock. You can watch it on Root Sports Northwest. Wenatchee Wild will try to win their third straight tonight. Vernon is in town. The Vipers are 2 spots in front of the 8th place Wild in the BCHL's Interior Division. They have 28 points. Wenatchee has 24 points, but of course, excuse me, coming off impressive wins over Penticton on Friday and West Kelowna on Sunday. Again, we'll preview tonight's game and talk about the weekend with Austin Drawdy a little bit later on in this program. Puck drops at 6:05 tonight, and you can get your tickets at WenatcheeWildHockey.com. Area high schools getting ready for winter break, so there's a lot going on in sports. The girls' schedule looks something like that. Ephrata has a 5:30 tip. They're going to be in Spokane to take on Shadle Park. Eastmont hosts Davis at 5:45. Okanagan's at Chelan. Cashmere will host Quincy. Later at 6, Liberty Bell at Lake Roosevelt, and Manson will visit Elmira Cooley Hardline. Boys' schedule, Cascade at Omak at 5:45. Orville hosts Bridgeport at 6. Ephrata takes on Shadle Park at 7. The 7:15 games have Cashmere hosting Quincy. Okanagan's at Chelan at 7:30. Davis at Eastmont. Liberty Bell at Lake Roosevelt. And Manson at Elmira Cooley Heartline. There's a makeup wrestling match tonight at 6 o'clock. Wenatchee will host West Valley. This is supposed to be the last Thursday, but the Rams didn't make the trip because of the roads. In girls bowling today, Wenatchee travels to Moses Lake. They'll take on the Mavericks at Lake Bowl at 3 o'clock. Arizona Cardinals lost to New England on Monday Night Football last night, 27-13. On the third play of the game, Kyler Murray went down with a knee injury. That was pretty much it for the Cardinals. The loss puts Arizona at 4-9 on the year. They're tied with the Rams for last in the NFC West. The Seahawks, meanwhile, are preparing for a quick turnaround. They got San Francisco Thursday night. Coach Pete Carroll said, guess what? San Francisco is a pretty good team.
Oh, man, they bring a bunch of them. This is a really good team. They've been building this team for a long time. The nucleus of this defense is together. You know, their linebackers have been playing for a number of years, and they're big play guys up front. Now they got Armstead back too. You know, they've got a really good group, and it took them a while to put this thing together. They've always been good. They're at their best right now, though. That's where it starts. They have a really good commitment in the run game as well that allows them to look how well that Kyle's done with the changing quarterbacks. You know, he's handled 2 major shifts here and been able to stay on course with their team because of the running game and a beautiful job of coaching the new guys as they come in. So it's really a good team.
Going into Sunday's game against Carolina, Coach Carroll thought that they had this whole run defense problem worked out. Now he says they didn't.
We got to make a turn here, and we have to. The things that we've been focusing on, we've got to see the results that we need to get done here, and so our players know it, and our coaches know it. We got to keep staying with it, and we know we made some progress last week. It didn't show up like we wanted to. Maybe I'm thinking about maybe it's a bigger deal. It's going to take a little bit longer than 1 week to flip something we wanted to flip. So we'll see what happens.
Seahawks are 7-6 on the season. They are 2 games back of the 9-4 49ers. And one final note in sports: former Cougar football coach and the current head coach of Mississippi State University, Mike Leach, died early today of a heart attack at a hospital in Oxford, Mississippi. Mike Leach was 61 years old. Thoughts and prayers to his family. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 24 minutes after the hour. The obscure holiday, one of the oldest musical instruments known to man, the violin. Yeah, there it is. It's National Violin Day. And wouldn't you know it, I got fun facts about violins. Playing the violin for an hour, you'll burn about 150 to 170 calories just by playing the violin for an hour. Violins are manufactured either from maple or spruce woods. To make a modern violin, it's 70 different pieces, and they have to be put together exactly right for the violin to work right. The first violin strings were made out of sheep gut that were stretched and dried and twisted. That was a long time ago. Violin strings have been made out of steel, metals and synthetic materials. Mozart was not only a piano player and a composer, he also played the violin. The most expensive violin ever purchased, Randy, is $16 million. That's a lot of money for a violin. What's the difference between the violin and the fiddle? Nothing. It's the same thing, just a different name. And by the way, if you play the violin, you have excellent cognitive skills. Your attention span is good, your memory is good, and your nonverbal reasoning is outstanding. So pick up the violin and play one today. Happy National Violin Day. It is 26 minutes after the hour. Today in history, 445 years ago, December 13th, 1577, off they go, Sir Francis Drake. He wasn't Sir at the time. He would eventually. Sir Francis Drake set sail from Plymouth, England, and went all the way around the world. Took him 3 years to do it. He left with 6 ships and a crew of 164 men. When they returned to Plymouth 3 years later, they had 1 ship and 59 men. Don't ask, but they're off to go see what's out there. And they found out 445 years ago today. Happy birthday to the National Guard. It's 386 years old today. December 13th, 1636, the General Court of the Colony of Massachusetts said we have all these little militias out there. We need to coordinate them because the Pequot Indians, the natives, are giving us some trouble and they're making things a little miserable for us. So we need an organized defense. And so they organized all the little militias into 3 militias, an east, a south, and a north, or something along those lines. Under the act, which went into effect on this date in 1636, every white male between 16 and 60 was required at all times to carry a gun, and they had to participate in drills. So they'd be ready to go if something in case happened. So they consider this the birthday of the National Guard, the founding of the National Guard of the United States on this date in 1636. 50 years ago today, Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt began their 3rd and final day on the moon. They drove that thing around. A little ATV, a little battery-powered ATV. Must be fun. It's still up there. They didn't take it back with them, of course, but they cruised around the moon. They are, to this day, they remain the last 2 people to be on the moon. Now we're heading back to the moon for reasons I don't know. We kind of know everything there is to know about the moon. Anyway, we'll have more on this tomorrow. That was 50 years ago today. It must have been fun to drive that thing around. And December 13th, 1977, 45 years ago today, the University of Evanston men's basketball team was taking off from the Evanston airport on their way to the Nashville International Airport. They were going to take on the Middle Tennessee Blue Rangers. And it barely made it off the runway, and it went down, and it crashed. According to the National Safety Board, the pilots failed to remove the gust locks, still locked in, so they couldn't control the rudders, and the center of gravity in the plane was too far in the back. The plane was packed with people and luggage, and they didn't have it balanced out correctly, and the pilots were unable to control the airplane. Ironically enough, the only member of the University of Evanston basketball team who did not die in the crash was 18-year-old freshman David Furr. He was out for the season with an ankle injury, so he wasn't actually on the plane. But 2 weeks to the day after this plane crash, David Furr and his brother Byron were killed in a car accident, which means every member of the 1977 Evansville Purple Aces would die. 77 years ago today. I mean, in 1977, I should say. And it's 29 minutes after the hour. Birthdays, normally we do presidents. We don't do first ladies, but there are exceptions. Mary Todd Lincoln is one. She had obviously she saw her husband get murdered right in front of her. She outlived 3 of her 4 sons. She had lots of migraine headaches. Contemporary historians believe she was quite probably bipolar. It's amazing that Abe Lincoln put up with it, but he did. Mary Todd Lincoln, the 16th First Lady of the United States, born in the state in 1818. Of course, she was from Kentucky, and all of her brothers fought for the Confederacy in the Civil War. Dick Van Dyke is 97 years old today. He's got 5 Primetime Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe, a Tony Award, a Grammy Award, and he was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame. about 25 years ago. Dick Van Dyke is 97 years old today. And look who's 33. Taylor Swift is 33 years old today. She's sold 40 million albums, about 135 million single downloads, 10 Grammy Awards, 5 Guinness World Records, an Emmy Award, 23 Billboard Music Awards, 11 Country Music Association Awards, 8 Academy of Country Music Awards, and it goes on and on and on and on. Taylor Swift, fine songwriter, 33 years old today. And if you're Taylor Swift's boyfriend and you break up with her, she's going to write a song about it. It's the bottom of the hour. Going to take a break. Got an opinion from my Mad Dog Minani. Then we're talking wild hockey with Austin. He's in. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
1989, I moved here in July. My dad farmed, my brother's still on the family farm. I worked for a dealer in Lewiston, Idaho. I was his general sales manager. My boss goes, I got a guy that may be ready for a store. We made one trip here, and that's how I ended up here. I'd never been here in my life, and I had no friends here. I have nothing, you know. I do now. I have a lot of friends here. I mean, this is my home. I love living here.
We were in Roseburg in the early 80s. Our oldest son, Dan, was a defensive back, a starter on that team. They in fact, became Oregon State champions, setting the first undefeated 14-0 season in Oregon's history. And a lot of people were losing jobs. Friends had left the community. It was a hard time. That football team and companies like Abby's kept that place alive and the community spirit alive. That's legendary.
Hi, this is Kelly, owner of the Original Children's Shop in downtown Wenatchee. We strive to bring you the most quality, fashionable, and fun clothing for your little ones, along with gifts, toys, and accessories. I look forward to meeting you soon at the Original Children's Shop.
Ladies, come fill out your wish list at Collins Fashions. Collins is decked out in red and green and full of cheer. Amazing gifts abound among the sparkly sweaters and beautiful Brighton designs. Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee, where Santa shops for fun and fashion.
Bear Foods is the small town store with the big time inventory. Join the growing movement to better nutrition with everything you need to improve your well-being. Bear Foods is more than a health food store. It's your good food store in downtown Chelan.
This Christmas, shipping and receiving is more important than ever. Jerry and Sherry are here to help. Mailboxes Chelan provides everything you need to get that special gift delivered for the holidays. Given this year's challenges, you must ship early. Visit Mailboxes Chelan today.
Are you frustrated because you feel like you aren't getting the internet speeds you pay for? One of the most common ways to test your internet connection is called a speed test. These are free and easily located on the internet and can tell you how fast your internet is. However, for certain reasons, these tests may not always be accurate. A speed test shows you how fast a file can be downloaded to the computer you're running the test on. However, there are many things that can affect the speed of that download besides the speed of the internet going into your home. A few of the things that can affect your internet speed are poor Wi-Fi signal, other wireless signals interfering with the wireless signals coming from your router, other devices in your home draining your bandwidth, your computer or phone running apps programs in the background that you aren't aware of, slowing your entire device. Any of these things can slow down your internet. Your internet is like water flowing down a pipe. There's a big pipe bringing internet to your local area, and a smaller pipe coming off of that bringing internet to your home address. Your router is just another pipe that brings the internet inside your house, and every device inside your home is like a pipe connected to the router. Just like with water, if any of those pipes along the way are too small for the amount of internet that needs to flow through for a family, the flow for everything down the line will be much slower. It's a lot like trying to push all the water going into your house through a small straw. Also, again, just like with water, if everyone in your home is using the internet at once, any individual device may not be able to receive the full flow of the internet. It's like your whole family trying to drink out of that small straw all at once. If you're struggling with internet that is slower than expected, make sure that all of the devices that your internet flows through are working correctly, and check all devices in your home for background programs that may be using the internet. If everything still appears to be working correctly, contact us and we'll be able to help.
When I was about 16, I got in a relationship. He hit me for the first time in front of his daughter. He physically abused me in front of my children. I couldn't do it no more. Sage was there for me when I needed them. I didn't hear a lecture from them. I didn't hear anything, but just acceptance. And that's what I needed at the time. And they help you with everything that you need to move on in life and heal.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, when I was a kid, I used to read stories about people who had regrets. Now, these folks would reach middle age or later, and suddenly they'd say to themselves, is this all there is? Or something like, why didn't I do so-and-so or such and such? Basically, they'd be saying that they wasted their life, their one life. Now, this made me think. I never wanted to forget that this life, my life, is a one-way trip, and I didn't want to waste mine having regrets that I didn't measure up to much. So, how have I done? You tell me. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
The agents of Kennedy Real Estate Group are committed to providing the ideal client experience. We believe in the power of relationships. Why? Because we don't just work here, we live here. From the nonprofits we serve, the parks where we play, and the local businesses we support, our team understands the value of living in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's begin your real estate story.
Hello, television family. Grab your cup of coffee each weekday morning and join me. I'm Dan Kuntz, the host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's everything you need to start your day. We're live and we're local at 7 a.m. every weekday on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. You can use this one.
Great. I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
Ooh. You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Brett Young, 5 Tour 3-2-1. Friday, May 12th at Town Toyota Center in Wenatchee with special guests Morgan Evans and Ashley Cook. Tickets on sale now at the box office, by phone, or towntoyotacenter.com.
Badger Mountain Brewery is your cure for boredom. Jam Night Mondays. Trivia Wednesdays. Live Music Fridays. And Sunday brunch. There's always something brewing at Badger Mountain, so come join the party. They may not be from you, but they're a part of your family. For many reasons, not all children are being raised by their parents. Are you a family member who has stepped in to help raise grandchildren, nieces, or nephews? Whether court-ordered or not, Aging and Adult Care may be able to assist you with many needs. Kinship Care helps keep family and community ties together. Learn more about kinship care by contacting Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, working together for a better quality of life for all.
Back at it on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Pretty darn good weekend for the Wenatchee Wild. They beat West Kelowna in overtime on Sunday. An exciting game, but what the real buzz was Friday night at the Town Toyota Center when they knocked off their rivals, the Penticton V's. Austin Drawdy is no stranger to this program. He is the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. The V's had won, going into the game, they had won their first 24 games of the regular season, but the streak actually goes back farther than that, right?
Streak goes back further than that, and it depends on how you parse it out. If you're just going by regular season games, 25 wins in a row. They lost their second to last game of the year last year, so they won their last regular season game, so the official streak is 25. But if you go all the way back through the playoffs, they lost their first game of the playoffs to Trail and won every one of the 16 after that. So they won 40 games in a row that they stepped on the ice for, and that ended Friday night up here in Wenatchee.
And you could tell, especially towards the end, and we're going to show highlights in just a little bit with Austin narrating the goals, you could tell halfway through the third period that the V's were getting frustrated. They were like, hey, we're Penticton. Don't we just put our foot on the accelerator and just run away with it? And you could tell. You could just in their body language and the way they were playing the game that they were going, we may lose.
And they're used to doing that too. They're used to being able to finish games strong and push through a third period, like they did last weekend against West Kelowna. They were down 2-0 going into the third period and won that game 3-2. So they are a team that finishes strong. They are never out of a game. And when they were down a couple of goals in the third period, you could see their pace really pick up, and you saw it pick up even more when they got that goal about 7.5 minutes to go to make it 2-1. They knew they were in the game. They just needed that next goal to tie
it. And listening to you in the third period, I must say, was enjoyable because your voice kept getting higher and higher and higher. You could tell the excitement level. You were like pumped. You were really pumped.
I'm a little surprised I didn't squeak through some of that.
As we show highlights, Austin's going to walk you through a great night Friday night at the Town Toyota Center. Roll the tape.
Fantastic night at the Town Toyota Center. This one is the first one. They're going to try to clear this one out in front of the net. And the Wild score this one with Christian Kim to make it 1-0. That one coming just 11 minutes into the game. Christian Kim, that one his fourth goal of the season, but wait, there will be more. As the Wild bring it ahead, Christian Kim, 1-on-4, sends it on from the right wing circle and sneaks it through inside the back post. That one made it 2-0 and gave Wenatchee a whole lot more breathing room, but it is the third period. It is Penticton. And a shot from right outside the blue line. A collision in front of the net is going to be coming, but the Wild able to stretch this one back down and kill off the penalty. And Wenatchee still hanging on to the lead. A shot, and Millward able to make the save. Owen Millward made 43 saves in that game. It is his best mark in the BCHL. Here's the collision. Players all over the cage, and somehow the puck finds its way through the bodies. They're going to rule this a goal for Penticton. It is 2-1 with 7 minutes left. And now the stress begins, but the Wild...
Had they pulled the goalie at this point?
They had pulled the goal. Actually, this is the exact point where they pulled the goalie. They called a timeout at that moment and pulled the goaltender to make it 6-on-5. Played the last minute and 42 seconds with 6 skaters on the ice, pushing the puck toward the net. Send one on. This will be Bradley Nadeau from the left wing circle. That one does not get through. Wild see the time down to 5 seconds left. Just pin it up against the end boards. Everybody pile in. Get your shots in while you can. And Wenatchee wins it 2-1. The first win over Penticton for anybody in 253 days.
The team seemed pretty... They always celebrate a victory, but that was a real celebration, the way they poured off the bench like they just won the Fred Page Cup.
It felt like a championship win, and it truly felt, the entire effort felt like a playoff game. Playoff games are always grittier, I might say grimier than a regular season effort. You're pouring in a lot more. You're, in a lot of terms, you're seeing a lot less return, and you're you're pouring yourself into getting every opportunity you can and burying every opportunity you can because you know you're not going to get a ton of them and you have to earn every one that you get. And this team put a playoff effort in to win that game on Friday night.
And the best thing is they know they can play and beat the best.
They do,
they
and that's going to be a huge shot in the arm of confidence for these guys moving forward. It's a game that it's one of 54 on the regular season schedule. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, there's going to be winning streaks, losing streaks. But this game, I think, will be remembered as and felt like at the time a whole lot more than just one game out of 54 in the middle of December,
and
wearing the ugliest sweaters in the crowd that you can find.
And keep in mind, we're talking about 18, 19-year-old kids, and they had to turn right around. They had the day off on Saturday, and then in comes West Kelowna. They're no slouch. They're an extremely good hockey team. And that, to me, was the key. Not only did they win emotionally and a physically exhausting game, they could turn right around in an extra time. They beat West Kelowna, as we show highlights from Sunday. Just incredible. That to me was like sugar on the ice cream, Austin.
Wild are going to bring this one in. 2-on-1. This is a shorthanded goal. The Wild score their first shorthanded goal of the season, 26 games in. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf. How about Bears in the air? It's Teddy Bear Toss tonight at Town Toyota Center. Hundreds and hundreds of bears flying on the ice. One of, maybe not hundreds and hundreds of highlights on the night, but plenty of highlights. And the Wild got their last with about 2 minutes left in the period. Ian Somoza, last of 4 points, drive home safely, go home happy. Wild win 5-4 in overtime.
I am going to go out on a limb and say that Clarkie gave everybody Tuesday off. That's a couple of exhausting games. And my guess is they had Monday off and maybe even a light skate on Tuesday.
Monday was a treatment day, a little bit of a rest day for the guys. Did some video work yesterday and some review of the game on Sunday, but as far as on-ice practice, yesterday was an off day. They'll get some skating in today and get ready to go for another tough one tonight against Vernon.
And there'll be a new guy strapping on the skates, provided he made it into town. We got a new player. Arvega
Hovsapian, he was in the lineup on Sunday night, was originally credited with an assist. They did some review and some reassigning of the points, so he ended up still hunting for that first point as a BCHLer, but came in from the United States Hockey League, played in Cedar Rapids, played in Tri-City, in Kearney, Nebraska. Some very good teams out in the USHL that he played for. Didn't get a ton of playing time, started last season on injured reserve as well, but I think he's going to be a very good addition to this Wild team. I think once he gets going, I can say from personal experience, it takes some time to learn the new ways of the new land, but I think once he gets acclimated a little bit, he's going to add some significant punch to this offense.
And it should be pointed out, this is one of the good things about having somebody like Bliss Littler taking away the coaching duties from himself and just making himself general manager, because he is well known for having an eye on talent.
He's got a very good eye for talent. He's got all the connections he's needed to create some successful teams, and as a head coach, to lead them to that success. And now he's got Chris Clark in charge, who is more than well prepared to do the same.
And it should be pointed out that when Bliss Littler calls a GM from another team in another league, they return his phone calls. It's pretty simple. In about the 4 minutes we have left, Vernon Vipers are in town to wrap up the 3-game homestand. We're going to talk about Vernon for just a minute.
Vernon is the first game against Vernon was a battle for this group. Went until about the last 14 minutes of the game. No scoring, just a lot of feeling each other out during the game, and then everything kind of broke free from that point. The offenses really exploded, and Wild weren't able to come away with that one a couple of Saturday nights ago. But Vernon's a good, talented team. A lot of Division I commitments, a lot of rising talent on that roster. So this one will be a battle, but it's the last chance to see the guys at home before Christmas break. So I think the guys are going to be pretty excited for this one. Try to knock out a win.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Which is the better division, the interior or the coastal, talent-wise, hockey-wise? I mean, I know we see a lot of teams from our division and very little of the other, but just from your observation.
Well, I might be a little biased because of that, but I think things are a little more even in the interior conference. Even with Penticton way up at the top, you see teams like Merritt and Wenatchee right now that are near the bottom of the interior conference standings. They can hang with the top teams in both conferences, and I think the overall talent level is probably higher in the interior conference, but we'll see some more of the Coastal Conference. We'll be able to prove that later on in the year.
I hope so. Anyway, as Austin just mentioned, they got Vernon tonight. They have a quick little road trip up in Canada in about a week or so, and then they won't be back in the Town Toyota Center until like the 30th and 31st, right?
That'll be New Year's Eve. Prince George comes down for that one. So that was the first road trip for me in town, was to go up to Prince George. They return the favor here at the end of the calendar year with a couple of games down here.
What are you liking about this team after a pretty darn good weekend with one more game to go? You got to be feeling pretty good right about now.
Feeling pretty good. This, like you said, this is a team that can play with the best teams in the BCHL, and I think if they put together that detailed 60-minute effort, they did it against Penticton, maybe with a few layoffs against West Kelowna. They did that as well. So it's a team that can hang with the best and beat the best if they put that 60-minute effort in. And I think it's important to know the road trip that didn't go real great up to Cranbrook and Trail and Vernon a couple of weeks ago. One practice that entire week. It was 3-day and 4-day grind. So not a lot of practice time. I think some of the details fell away with the lack of practice time, the busy stretch, and I think having that extra practice time, getting back to a regular schedule last week, really helped these guys dial it back. And I think it'll be really good to have practices Wednesday and Thursday to get these guys ready for a couple of big games this weekend.
And it should be pointed out, they're now halfway through the regular season, and this is also the time of the year where they get a little banged up. And we are a little banged up right now. I mean, let's be honest. We got some guys who are nicked up and bruised, and so this is when depth comes into play.
That's when you need your third line and fourth line to really step up, and that's why it was so neat to see Christian Kim and the group step up on that third line on Friday night. You didn't see points coming from the top two lines. They had their hands full with the top two lines from Penticton. But the third line with Christian Kim, the new defenseman Dane Weston, picked up his first assist on Friday night. So at times like this, you need to be able to get production from all four lines. You need to be able to roll four lines as best you can. And it was great to see that third line come in, step up. You never know when your time is going to be called, and they made it their time on Friday night.
Vernon Vipers tonight, 6:05. You can listen to the game on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Radio Network. I believe KPQ tonight will have the game. Is that? And for a subscription, you can watch it on Hockey TV through the BCHL's website. Quick trip up to Canada before Christmas. Then they scatter to the winds.
Yep.
And then they come back, and they'll have home games on the 30th and the 31st of December. And that's when we'll have you back on to preview the end of the year and welcome in the new year. All right.
Sounds good. And I think at some point, in addition to the pay-to-watch stream and the free-to-listen radio, at some point there's a local TV station that might be carrying these games?
Thursday night is always hockey night here. Every Thursday night we have Wenatchee Wild Hockey right here throughout the course of the hockey season. So thanks for the plug, Austin. He remembered. I forgot. Austin Drawdy, give him a big hand, everybody. And if I don't see you, have a safe trip back to the Midwest. And we'll talk soon, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, independent agent and owner at Springwater Insurance Group here in North Central Washington. And it's that time of year again. October 15th to December 7th, that is the time if you have a Medicare plan, do I want to keep it or do I want to change it? For any of those questions, give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group because we're independent agents. We don't work with one company, we work with many companies because all of you have different situations and needs. So if you have questions about 2021 Medicare plans, give us a call, 888-2600.
50 years ago, a group of visionaries saw a need to provide high-quality health care to
every member of our community,
regardless of age or income.
Today, Columbia Valley Community Health has grown to provide medical,
dental,
and behavioral health care through a network of facilities
and a mobile clinic that serves patients in remote locations.
For 50 years, we have been offering quality care to all,
and we will continue to do so
for 50 more.
We are CVCH,
and we are here with you.
I'm here at Boswell's Home Furnishings to announce one of their newest lines of furniture, Builtwell, an amazing local furniture maker in Oregon.
Hi, can I help you?
I was just telling my friends.
About Builtwell? They have exquisite craftsmanship, superior construction. I love their designs. Builtwell is a great addition to the wide selection of quality furniture you'll find here at Boswell's.
Boswell's Furniture on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
About 3 minutes to go before we wrap up this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. The sun is beginning to get the job done, 23 degrees outside of our studios, but the sun's only been up for less than 20 minutes. In fact, we're down to 8.5 hours of daylight with the sun still going down at 4:10. That 4:10 sunset doesn't really change much. It's the sun rises that get a little bit later on before we get to the longest day of the year, December 21st, and then we get longer days. Freezing fog and black ice is definitely a concern now this time of the year, especially we had all the snow. Then we had the fairly mild temperature yesterday. We got up to 35 degrees, felt even warmer than that out in the sunlight. And that allowed some of the snow to melt. It gets onto the roadway, and then it freezes in the overnight hours, and then it melts a little again in the daylight hours, and it freezes again. So, and of course, black ice is exactly that. Black ice, you can't see it. So it's something you need to be aware of, especially over bridges and overpasses that have a tendency, the surface of those roadways on bridges and overpasses have a tendency to be a few degrees colder than roadways that are actually on soil. Heads up on that. And as far as cold is concerned, we've been talking about this. We know it's coming right now. We're under the influence of a weak ridge of high pressure. It's strong enough to keep us pretty cold, but that weak ridge of high pressure that we're going to have over the next couple of days is going to be replaced with a stronger ridge of high pressure, and with no mild air coming in before the second ridge builds up, that means a lot of cold air will be trapped on the valley floor today and tomorrow. We're going to be below freezing, but it's not going to be really cold. It's certainly typical for this time of the year, but it's really when we get into Thursday and into Thursday night, and you're going to start really feeling those temperatures drop lower than a gopher's basement. It's going to be downright really cold by the weekend. From our friends at Apple Valley Honda and the National Weather Service, sunshine today. Pretty much like yesterday, maybe a little more filtered sunshine, but we'll take it. 30, the forecast high today. Again, we hit 35 yesterday. A few clouds will form tonight. There's a weak ridge that's going to come in and come out, so we're going to see a few more clouds tonight than we saw last night. We'll get down to about 20 for the overnight low. It might take a little while longer for the sun to burn off the clouds and the fog on Wednesday. Eventually it will. We'll get up to about 30, and then here we go. We're just down all the way down to 18 degrees. 18 degrees for the overnight low Wednesday night into Thursday. That's going to feel downright balmy by the time we get to the weekend. So you can see each day incrementally our afternoon highs and our overnight lows will be just a little bit cooler and a little bit cooler. And I think we can safely say downright cold by Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And there is a slight chance of some light snow Saturday afternoon. If it comes down at all, it would be light, fluffy kind of snow because it's going to be really cold and really dry for the foreseeable future. And that is it for us. Have a great Tuesday. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.